Oh yeah.
What's up guys? Kellen back with Inside Out Precision, and today we're doing a video, a fairly simple video, but an important one nonetheless, on the correct way to draw your bow. I see a lot of people come in and out of this shop every single day, and I see a lot of really funky ways that they draw their bow, whether it be for a hunting or tournament situation. You know, there is, believe it or not, kind of a right way and a wrong way to do it. I think a lot of people are just overbowed. They're pulling too much weight. It's kind of a machismo thing. They just, you know, they think they should be able to pull 70 pounds even though they've only been shooting for 3 weeks. And so today I'm gonna go over really the best way to draw your bow. I'm not gonna say it's the right way. I think this is it's gonna prevent injury, number one, and it's gonna use the least amount of movement of your entire body. So for a hunting scenario, you know, you can't have a lot of movement, you have a big exaggerated draw. And for a target scenario, you know, the faster I get my pin on the target, the more time I have to aim. If I take a long time to get my pin to the target, you know, I'm just wasting the best seconds of my hold. So to start, I'm gonna show you the ways that I see that are incorrect. So the most common way that I see people draw that's incorrect is with the low elbow. So they come in and it's that motion. So the problem with that is two big things. The main one is that a lot of the times, by the time I get the bow back, my pin is actually below what I'm aiming at. So if you start out already fighting gravity, it's gonna be really, really hard to get that pin in the middle. I'm sure a lot of you have been shooting and your pin drops down below that dot and it feels like somebody's just holding a lead weight on your arm. Well, imagine having to start 2 feet below the target and then come up to it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you saw how much motion was there. So if I've got an animal coming in and I have to go to draw my bow, there's no way they're gonna let you get away with that unless you're in, you know, a ground blind or up in a tree stand or something. If I'm just on the ground, like when I'm elk hunting, and I try and get away with that, it is not gonna work. So that's the low elbow. The second thing I see is the really high elbow, which looks something more like this. People come in and they go like that. Now, of the two, I would if you're gonna not do it correctly, I would prefer you do it with the high elbow than the low. The problem with the high elbow is that it really promotes injury, basically, because when I come in like this and I extend that shoulder way up and forward, when I pull, you know, these muscles are all the way expanded, and when I have to contract them like that, you know, if I'm not really warmed up, chances are I'm gonna pull a muscle doing that. So what I want you to practice, and you may need to dump some poundage out of your bow, what we're gonna try and get is to where everything comes up just about eye level, maybe a little bit higher, and then when you draw, it's just a lever down. Shunk. So that when I get back to full draw, it's minimal movement, and then ideally, my pin is gonna be sitting pretty close to what I'm aiming at. So, you know, I like to try to get it to where my pin is about 10 inches to a foot above what I'm aiming at, like at the target. And then, you know, when I get back, I can bring it down a little closer to the dot. As I settle into my anchor, I bring that pin onto the dot, and then I'm ready to go into my hard aim. So I'm not wasting any time getting my bow just on target. I see this a lot where guys come up and they draw and they go, and they anchor, and then it's this. Come down, come down, come down, come down. Finally they hit the target, now they start aiming. Well, I just wasted the best 3 or 4 seconds of my draw just getting that bow down onto target. So here's what I want you to practice. Hook up your release, get everything set, bring everything up just about eye level, and then straight back. So now my pin is just above my target. All I have to do is settle in slightly and execute the shot. If you imagine kind of like a push-pull, like a lever down like that, boom. You know, I kind of turn my torso towards the target, and as I pull, you know, I'm using my shoulder and my torso there, so it's not all in my shoulder. And if I try and stand perfectly square and just pull right here with my shoulder, it's gonna put a lot of stress on that shoulder joint. I've seen guys injure themselves, especially hunting, where it's early in the morning, you get up, you go crawl in a tree stand or a ground blind or even if you're not in a ground blind, you're just out walking around, you're not warmed up. Chances are you didn't draw your bow or shoot your bow 10 or 12 times before you went out there. And if you try and just muscle that with all shoulder, it's really, really easy to injure yourself. Whereas if I come in here, my torso is turned slightly towards the target, when it's time to draw, it's not all my shoulder. I'm helping my shoulder out by turning my torso. And then when I get back, again, my pin is pretty close to what I'm aiming at, so I'm not wasting any time acquiring my target. So, whether you're hunting or target shooting, getting your draw down is pretty important. In fact, in a lot of these tournaments, if you sky draw, they will kick you off the course. I was in a group with a guy at Reading 2 years ago, and they actually kicked him off the course. It was kind of a controversial deal. I don't think he was actually sky drawing. It was just an uphill target, and his release broke and his arrow went over the target. But nonetheless, if you start way the heck up here and draw your bow and then come down, if you have a mechanical release, you're either going to shoot the ceiling at an indoor range, or you're going to launch it way the heck over the target and onto the course elsewhere. So it's a safety thing as well. So like I said, if you need to dump some poundage out of your bow to work on this, if you've been drawing like this or coming over the top for a really long time, dump some poundage out of your bow, build those muscles up. Don't just, go right into it. But I think you're gonna have a lot better alignment, a lot better hold, and just improved shooting overall. So I hope that helps you out a little bit. I know that's a pretty in-depth coverage of a pretty simple thing, but I think it'll really matter. As usual, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We've been rolling along and had a lot of really positive feedback, and we really appreciate you guys so much for that. Really, really helps us out getting those likes and subscriptions. So if you have any comments, as usual, leave them below. We do our best to get back to you in a timely manner. We really like engaging with everybody, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. So until next time, keep it in the middle, and remember, precision is a decision.